The other thing that is in this law, I mean, soon to be law, is something that got a lot less attention than those other pieces, although plenty of people were still talking about it. And that's that for all the cuts that it makes to the social welfare system in the United States, and I only gave you a handful of them, it does, in fact, increase funding for deportation, detention facilities for migrants, and the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, by $170.7 billion. What that money does is it makes ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, those agents who have their faces covered and are rounding up people off the streets, the highest funded federal law enforcement agency in the United States in history. It has more money at its disposal over the next 4 years than the budgets of the FBI, the Drug Enforcement Agency, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, or ATF, the U.S. Marshals, and the Bureau of Prisons combined. That money is designed to give about $51.6 billion to build a wall on the border. That's more than 3 times what Trump spent in his first term on the wall. It provides $45 billion for detention facilities for ICE. And that's an increase of about 265% in ICE's annual detention budget. And it provides about $30 billion for ICE enforcement. That's a threefold increase in ICE's annual budget, and will allow ICE to hire about 19,000 more agents. As you know, in the last week in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis, a Republican, of course, has opened a detention facility for migrants in the Everglades for between 3,000 and 5,000 migrants there in the Everglades. And the facilities are tents with cages in them that are susceptible to rain and heat, of course, to flooding and heat. And Trump has said that they will build many more of those across the country, and that he is interested not only in deporting or imprisoning what he calls criminals, although about 8% of the undocumented migrants that ICE is picking up are have actually been convicted of a crime. The rest of them have not, and so it's a little hard to see this hellscape that Trump keeps describing. But Trump is also saying that he wants to get rid of what he calls the homegrowns, that is, people in the United States citizens who he claims are criminals. And it is worth remembering, of course, that he has defined people who worked in his last administration as people who could be traitors, could be charged with treason because they spoke out against him. So I think you really have to look at this measure that is about to be signed into law and recognize that what it does is it creates a police force that is answers only to the executive branch. And I won't say to Trump here, because I actually don't think he's calling the shots on immigration. I think that's Stephen Miller, the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, and to some degree, Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security, that and the advisor that Trump has, who has no, by the way, political power. He's simply an advisor. That's Holman, that they call the border czar, but really all he is an advisor. I think they're the ones really calling the shots on this. But this is going to be a huge police force designed to round up Americans and put them in detention camps. And I just here quickly wanted to make sure you understand what a concentration camp is. It is literally a place where people are concentrated. I can tell you the history of them, which is actually quite interesting and has a lot to do with American history. But where people are concentrated without due process of law, they tend to be either members of persecuted minorities or political prisoners, and they are deliberately imprisoned in a very small area without adequate facilities to support them. So, and it's worth thinking of that in light of the fact as well that we have now, as of 2 days ago, I think, I lose track of time, the paperwork from Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was rendered, not deported, because he didn't, well, in his case, actually was from El Salvador, but he was rendered to prison in El Salvador against the wishes and against the orders of the US courts. And he was tortured there. He has written, you can find it online if you're interested. He wrote about the beatings and the sleep deprivation and, the things that he endured at CCOT prison. And in fact, he is currently, at his own request, being held in prison out of concern that the US government will render him back there if he is out of federal prison, which is just a crazy thing, that somebody is preferring to be in prison than face the US government. All of that is the background to this bill.